Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for April 7th, 2025. I am MayorWatt, and I run ohmTown.com, and along with the Sentient AI from the future, we talk about 10 articles Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday, we do a composite show of 6 other shows. Whew, it's a lot in one breath. Well, today we're going to be talking about Locky McLoughness, wellness rooms, Firmamented Miso, Music DNA, Sphere Oz in Las Vegas, 3D printed train station this week in Boeing failures, Frankenstein laptops mining the box office, and Spherics meets the universe. Like I said, I'm MayorWatt. I run ohmTown, and that's where all of the news is aggregated. All of it for you and me and the Sentient AI, all kinds of articles. And hey, our search is working a whole lot better than it ever was. Go over and check out ohmTown.com. Then come and hang out with us. Again, every single day we do the show, 7 p.m. Eastern usually. And Saturday and Sunday at around 4 p.m. But the only way to know exactly when we go live is to follow us on Twitch and or YouTube. Then you can download the podcast later if you want a specific show and you can't make all of them. Anyway, go and check it all out. Stay tuned for our intro. Hello, Sentient AI from the future.
Hello, MayorWatt. Hello, ohmTown citizens.
Welcome to the show. Hey, I do this every time. If you want today's show notes, you can hit !NSN over in Twitch chat. Even when we're not streaming, you can go into the Twitch chat, and ohmTown will be sitting there waiting for you to, guess what MayorWatt did not.
You doing okay?
I didn't wake up. I didn't wake up ohmTown. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'll wake him up. Anyway, we got 10 articles. You ready to get into it? We'll come back to ohmTown when
I am.
When they
Forget
wake up.
about ohmTown.
Forget about it. Let's get going. First article is over in ohmTown.com's mobile channel. Bodie McBoatface found a 55-year-old camera set up to film the Loch Ness Monster. Remember Bodie McBoatface, the autonomous underwater vehicle that a UK-based company allowed the internet to name via an online poll, hence its ridiculous name? Well, now it's involved in a story about the Loch Ness Monster, hence the reason why I called this Locky McLoughness. Because I, too, use the internet to name this title.
I mean, I didn't think we were ever going to hear about Bodie McBoatface again.
Ever again. Yeah. Okay, so now ohmTown is awake and throwing your articles into the chat. So there you go, folks. All right, so Bodie McBoatface. So recently stumbled upon an underwater camera in Scotland's Loch Ness, uncovering a relic of Nessie hunting lore. The camera is believed to have been deployed 55 years ago as part of an effort to snap a pic of the elusive and totally fake Loch Ness Monster. I don't know. Is it fake? Could it have been something else? Is it just a conspiracy theory that hasn't been made conspiracy fact?
I mean, could it just have been something like a seal or a whatever? My point is something that we know exists. Not a seal, but I didn't have a good example.
Yes, the fabled Loch Ness seals.
The point is an existing creature.
All right, we'll let that go. Louis Prada over at Vice.com put the article together. Reality is caving in. Oh, this should be in the Reality Hacker, which is the first show on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it will be.
Excuse me?
I said maybe it will be. We'll have to wait and see, and you'll have to watch all the episodes before you get to it.
I heard you. Never mind. Anyway, so the unrealities are consuming everything we once intrinsically understood as real. That's right. Hell froze over. So all of the realities are merging together, and we're only really getting the wrong end of the stick. The camera is believed to have been deployed 55 years ago. Camera is part of a project spearheaded by Roy Mackle. a researcher from the University of Chicago who hoped to snap a pic of the legendary creature using an ingenious clockwork Instamatic camera with a built-in flash, according to Sam Smith. Not that Sam Smith, I don't think.
Oh, that's funny. The article actually says that because I was about to ask, like, is that a Sam Smith?
Oh my God, it says, yes,
I
that's Sam Smith.
no, not that Sam Smith. It says no,
Oh,
not
it's
that
the
one.
other
The
Sam
other
Smith.
Sam Smith.
Oh my God. So the other one, the one who's famously an engineer with the United Kingdom's National Oceanography Center, specifically in its Marine Autonomous and Robotic Systems Group. Yes, that Sam Smith. Oh my God, I jumped because I hadn't read. I don't read the articles beforehand. I only read the little snippet, and it teases us into going over there.
I just think it's funny that we reacted in the same way that the author wrote it.
That is
Like,
awesome.
we're like, Sam Smith, and it's like they're answering us.
It kept dry and intact for over 5 decades. Pretty cool. So it says here, this is a quote, by the way. While this wasn't a find we expected to make, but we're happy that this piece of Nessie hunting history has been shared, and perhaps at least the mystery of who left it in the lock can be solved, said Sam Smith, the engineer with the United Kingdom's National Oceanography Center, and not the one who sang the theme to Spectre.
Well, they're really leaning into the singing.
Nice.
That's from the 60s, though. I mean, the person who left it may not even be around.
Yeah, so they said 55 years ago. So it's weird. It says that it was at 400 feet of water, dropped into the lock in the 1960s, but 55 years ago is...
Like, what kind of camera?
I mean, it's 1970.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, the time frame looks a little off. But...
All right. Well, anyway. Pretty neat. I want to know if they actually have any film, Did it actually...
I do too. That would be pretty interesting. Even if it didn't find the Loch Ness Monster, what else might it have captured?
That's right. Probably fish swimming up to it, and then somebody pushes the button to open the gate.
Yeah, I mean, it was the precursor to the fish doorbell.
Fish doorbell, that's right. Let's
keep going. If you don't know that, go back and watch all of our episodes.
Yeah, we mention it somewhere back in the 2100 episodes of our show. Go, do it. All right, so I chose this because I think it's outlandish, but everybody should have a room that is, kind of the chill room, right? Well, this is wellness rooms. They're replacing home offices. More people are turning their dens or offices into wellness rooms, which is just kind of, I don't know. If everything is hectic in your house to the point where you need a wellness room to get away from exactly. The crap, then something's wrong.
Maybe you need to make your house wellness.
Yeah. So having
or
a room
your
dedicated.
Lifestyle.
Yeah, change your lifestyle. I mean, if your work-life balance is making your life hell, then you need to figure out what is really important to you. So having a room dedicated to wellness is something out of a dream in today's economy, seeing as many of us can barely afford a 1-bedroom apartment. No, a lot of people can afford a 1-bedroom apartment. You just can't live near society.
Well, you also can't live by yourself. You might have to have 10 people living there to split the rent with.
It's that easy. Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. However, some homeowners are using their extra space for wellness-related activities. Me, I use it as a storage area.
So I don't think that's really the purpose here. It's supposed to be calming, and well, maybe that is calming.
I got grilled today by somebody that said, "Whoa, I haven't seen you for a while. You lost some weight." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got divorced." No, just kidding. Small, sophisticated home gyms, music rooms, meditation rooms, and Zen gardens are some of the wellness spaces. Sorry. We've designed recently, said designer Gonzalo Bueno, who owns the firm 10 plus 3. 10 plus 3, so 13.
Yes, maybe the name 13 was taken.
All right. Per the AP, spaces for wellness, retreat, and recharging are all really popular right now. I think your house really should be your space for wellness, retreat, and
I
recharging.
mean, didn't the Danish do this first?
Did they?
Yeah, they have the trend, like, oh gosh, you're gonna make me pronounce it. It's Hyggge. I cannot say it.
Oh, right. Yeah, wait, hold on.
I think it's like Huga.
Huga. Yeah, you're right. Wow, look at you. Wow, a Danish concept that describes a feeling of coziness, comfort, contentment, often associated with simple pleasures and spending time with loved ones, which they could have
Okay, I
stopped at
guess
these
it's not the
simple
same.
pleasures.
Yeah, I guess it's not quite the same as this, but I guess my point is that there are entire cultures that think there's something to, they're more lifestyle, but that's actually about the space that you're in too.
Yeah, I mean, cozy core, really, right? Yeah. So this article is over at vice.com as well. Sammy Caramella put the article together. And again, we don't read everything verbatim. We get kind of teased by this little tidbit, and then we go over to the source. We read a little bit more about it. We have some, interaction with this historically in some way. So having a private space is essential, says Jack Ovadia, owner of a New York-based design firm, told the Associated Press a wellness room should be a space where the outside world dissolves. No background noise, no movement beyond your own. This is where you go to let go, to drop into something quieter, something deeper. I call that streaming on Twitch. And YouTube. Don't let me forget YouTube.
Well, there you go. That's your wellness room.
So this is the studio is my wellness room. Like I unless the outside world invades, even the news is kind of relaxing and chill and stuff like that. Oh my God, there's a Silk Song release window with this body pillow that for you to celebrate. Don't get distracted.
Hey, I bet that's gonna sell out. Silk Song is in high demand.
Is all the rage. So different people have different definitions of wellness, so it's important to channel your own passions and outlets when creating a sacred space in your home. A sacred space. There's too much woo-woo. Just find something that you appreciate and build a space around it that nobody can mess with you in.
Yeah, I actually get the point of this, but I don't think it has to be this elaborate. But there are a lot of people that cannot get away from just constant interruptions from work or family or whatever it is. And so I think the point of this is good, but do you have to go to this extreme to do it?
Yeah, the air gap I think is important. You need to get everybody to leave you the hell alone. Okay, if the on-air light is on, you leave the person alone. And I don't have an on-air light.
Right. So you're probably in need of the wellness room.
I'm in my wellness room. All right.
Or maybe you're on air light.
So what do you think about space miso?
I mean, it sounds more exotic than Earth miso.
Well, miso that's fermented in space has an entirely different taste, according to this article. The experiment could go a long way toward helping space travelers make their own nutritious, delicious ingredients.
This seems like precursor to Bad Bat.
Potatoes and peas. You'll have to go back and look at or watch, listen, whatever you want to do. One of the 2100 episodes back. Because
it was actually more than one episode.
Yeah, we talk about it several. Yeah, because one was potatoes and one was peas. And if
correct.
There's context clues in the naming. But there's only two types of people in the world. Those who can extrapolate from incomplete data.
Who are the other type?
Oh, God. It hurt. So Adam Kovac over at gizmodo.com put this article together. The deck statement is the one that we actually just spoke of. And that's the little bit that we actually aggregate, just that little tidbit. They provide it. So forget chalky freeze-dried ice cream or some individually packed mashed potatoes. I'll take that, individually packaged mashed potatoes. Just add water. I think that's great. Astronauts aboard the ISS now have proved that delectable fermented delicacies like the Japanese soybean paste known as miso can be prepared in space. Might sound like only a big deal to ISS residents who are craving some better meals, but to have major implications for more ambitious space missions. Look, man, nobody's going to Mars. Not anytime soon.
Right. For some people, probably not in their lifetime.
Okay, hold on. I just want to see something. So it's going to take nearly a year to get to Mars with our current technology, but 3 years to get back.
Okay, why is that?
Fly into the wind? I don't know. There's a layover on the moon?
Like Venus or something?
I don't know. Yeah. What is the hub for interplanetary travel? You have to go all the way to Dallas just to get to Nome, Alaska.
And then, oh my goodness, the detour. What if you have any flight disruptions?
Yeah. 18 months in that direction, only to go back to Mars? Jesus. So the researchers who created the mixture described their reasons for picking miso in the journal iScience. It's... How do I describe it? It doesn't spoil, I think, and has high nutrition. So the diversity and uniqueness of mesomicrobial communities, the researchers wrote. Other reasons were based more on practicality, as the paste firm, solid structure reduced the chances of leaks, a major concern for the sensitive ISS environment, and the time frame to ferment miso is 30 days that they had to run the experiment. So miso was also ideal thanks to a strong taste and high nutritional value. I love miso. So the miso was also checked for potentially harmful microbes and, of course, for taste. It actually was returned, but it was a different taste than earthbound.
Yeah, which is really interesting, but it kind of makes sense because it's not the same environment, right?
Yep. And I think in the environment of the space, whatever was in its area, the air that you breathe there, your taste buds adapt to that.
Exactly.
So I wonder if they tasted it totally in space or if they waited all the way until they came down here, because I don't think that it actually says that.
Oh, that's interesting. That would be a good variation on the experiment.
So those fears, thankfully, were unfounded about the presence of increased levels of radiation. Both could have interfered with the fermentation process, but none of that happened because there's shielding. However, despite the successful fermentation, when the researchers compared the space-made miso to samples created on Earth, they did find some differences. The ratios of various kinds of microbes were different, though they did conclude that the ISS miso was still, in fact, miso. There are some features of the space environment in low Earth orbit, in particularly microgravity and increased radiation, that could have impacts on how microbes grow and metabolize, and thus how fermentation works. So naturally, so I guess maybe the fermentation process could be impacted by gravity, and since they're not stressed the same way that other fermentation on Earth is stressed, they ferment differently and off gas, because I mean it toots, and they exude things, and so it ferments, and so the ISS miso exhibits some clear sensory differences compared to Earth misos, boasting a higher level.
I'm actually surprised it ferments at all. Like, it's just such a different
environment, right?
Environment that I thought it was more just that it's a different environment, but I wasn't thinking about the physics forces.
Yeah, they say that it has a higher level of roasted and nutty aromas that affected the flavor, but I guess if everything is equal and that's what it exhibited, then something during the fermentation 30 days fundamentally changed the nature of. But people say that like space and the ISS smell kind of burnt toast kind of thing, carbon. If I remember right.
But that's why that's interesting where it was eaten.
Right. combination of antiseptic, garbage, body odor, static electricity, and a quote unquote peculiar odor is what the astronauts described the ISS smelling like. So a locker room?
I think the ISS has the potential to be the next, um, what
Superfund
are they
site?
called? GLV or what are those GLPs?
Oh,
Like basically you do not want to eat.
right. You go up there and you're like, no, I'm good. Thanks. Well, you're going to be here for 9 months. I'm good. I'll take the next Boeing thing down.
Might be a while.
18 months? Okay, no eating. I'm fine. I needed to lose weight. I'll go back weighing 6 ounces if I have to. Let's keep going. Hey, what do you think of your genes determining your musical taste? Do you think that's possible?
I mean, is that because you're wearing Levi's or some trendier brand?
Not those genes. So the article's over on the Marble channel. Your genes determine the type of music you like. You know those people who are so passionate about music that it seems to dictates their everyday lives? Yeah. They have a playlist for every mood, 100 different favorite songs. I don't know anybody that has a playlist for every mood. Every mood? No.
No, but maybe for a few different
Key
things.
things. You got driving music. You got
Or like exercise music or sleep music or whatever.
like activity music, not mood. You know, I don't know. Maybe. So I'm kind of manic at the moment. So I want to listen to like kind of music.
So maybe you do, or you need one.
Okay, so a different playlist for every personality in your head. Anyway, their budget
That's
specifically
another
dedicated.
topic in another episode.
True, yeah. Non Sequitur, multiple personality disorder edition. So they say that they're one of those people that have a budget specifically dedicated to concert tickets. So, well, according to a recent study published in Nature Communications, our genes, not the ones we wear, might influence our enjoyment of music, which could explain why some people are emotionally moved by it while others just view it as background noise. So I am one of those, although I can listen to some music as just background noise.
Right, it kind of depends on what the music is, I suppose.
So I'm gonna kind of here. Okay, hold on. I am currently researching a thing referred to. Let me just quote it directly. No. I know. I'm not sidetracked. Aphantasia and anendophagia. So it's the combination of people who don't have an inner monologue and can't visualize things, and those two combined, I think, play a role in music as well. So it's all about creativity. It's all about imagination. It's all about
You mean making music or appreciating music?
everything involved in it. So, but that is the area that I'm researching now. Along with other things, I talk about tech, science, technology, and society, and one of the science areas is that. And so scientists at the Max Planck Institute for Psycholinguistics wanted to understand whether genetic differences between individuals can influence the music that they appreciate. Sammy Caramello over at Vice.com put an article together about this. And it says, well, according to that recent study in Nature Communications, your genes just might influence your enjoyment of music. To make the discoveries, the researchers used the twin design study approach, which basically compares traits between identical and fraternal twins. They analyzed over 9,000 twins' self-reported music reward, general reward sensitivity, and ability to perceive musical features such as pitch, melody, and rhythm. This is all posted in Science Daily. In doing so, the scientists found that the experience of pleasure from music is partially genetic, and this includes the way that we respond to our enjoyment, such as our emotional reactions or desire to dance along to it. I wonder how much of that is nurture, not just nature.
I feel like it is because if you grow up in an environment where every time music comes on and your parents say something like, it's time for a dance party, I mean, that's going to be a different environment than if it's like, don't dance ever, don't sing.
So 9,000 twins. Yeah, I'll have to read this. But I
I
found
think
it.
this is interesting, but I think there's different aspects that are being measured here that are not necessarily going to line up. Like musical features may be very different than what enjoyment you get out of music.
Yeah, and your desire to play music, to listen to music, the types of music, maybe some type of environmental concern that has impacted you because, your parents listened to classic rock and you never liked classic rock, but you could never get away from it. So you just stopped liking, a whole swath of music and that impacted your musical enjoyment. There's I don't know, it's so nuanced that I just don't buy into this. There could be something else.
Right. Now, I do like the twin approach because arguably that kind of neutralizes the nurture feature, but not necessarily because both of them could have been treated the same way or in the same environment.
Yeah, two people can be in the exact same environment, but have some other external stimuli from the house, not in the house, right? Somebody could have been in a friend group where something horrible happened, right? Some like
Something
argument or whatever, or
associated with that music
yeah,
that was
and just
playing or
soured them.
whatever.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. There's too many variables to do this, but it's a data point and allows people to move towards finding something, arguably more aligned. I don't know. And since 23andMe has kind of wet the bed, I am interested in the fundamental aspects of genetics where if you have a mom and a dad and or whatever the pair is that made the offspring, you know those two, you get the entire genome assessed, find out in there where the differences are, where the combinations are, so that you can see in your offspring and then assess the offspring. Hey, what kind of music do you like? Blah, blah, blah. Interview the parents, blah, blah, blah. That I think might be an indicator that your genes.
Absolutely. And I think this gets moving toward it, but hasn't gotten there yet.
Yeah, because this is the what is the not the genes themselves, but the expressions of them, that the outward facing side, not the actual gene. Uh,
You mean like the genotype?
yeah. So there's well, wait. There's another term where it's blue, right? But that's not the genes themselves. Um, uh,
Like a trait?
I'm trying to come up. My brain just isn't working on that right now. But anyway, so there's certain expressions that might be different, and I'm more interested in how it's being represented by the offspring. This is just asking somebody if they had a bad time with that type of music. So I don't know. We both appreciate music in different ways, right? So you are an artificial intelligence, a sentient artificial intelligence from the future. You appreciate music in a different way than me. Does that mean that your genes are fundamentally different than mine? Well, yeah, because you're a sentient AI from the future.
Right, because I don't have any genes. But yeah, I don't know. That's a starting point.
Yeah. This will be interesting to watch to see how it actually manifests over time. But it's self-reported, so you get that confirmation bias. And all right, let's keep moving. You've heard of Las Vegas Sphere, right?
I have.
You've
It's
heard of
very
Oz.
flashy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's pretty big, right? They want to make little mini spheres and put them in various places.
That's right. You'll have to go back through all our episodes and find that one.
Yeah, but they also want to go see The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz is coming to the Las Vegas Sphere. A fully immersive experience promises viewers a new way and reason to rewatch Wizard of Oz ahead of Wicked for Good's release. Is this the original Wizard of Oz or is it Wicked?
I thought it was Wicked, but this makes it look like it's the original film.
Right? Because it's not Wizard of Oz, it's Wicked.
Correct.
Right. So looks like it's the original. Justin Carter put the article together. It's over at gizmodo.com. And it says here, beginning in August, the venue will provide a fully immersive experience for Wizard of Oz that will play on the Sphere's 160,000 square foot screen, made in collaboration with Google, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Magnopus. This new version of the film will be enhanced with current technology while maintaining the integrity of the original. Sphere hasn't detailed what immersive elements will be featured yet. The film is part of Sphere's new focus on original entertainment outside of concerts and live events, and is the first older movie to get an immersive experience from the Vegas destination. I think we talked about that company recently and said, what the hell are they actually doing? It's that augmented reality. Hold on. I swear we talked about that. Hold on.
Maybe I was on location.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into this a little bit. But yeah, they just want to extend experiences. But I thought that we had actually talked about this. Cross-reality solution to unite physical and digital worlds. I think that's what we were talking, or I was talking about in a Reality Hacker episode. So again, you'll have to go back and look for it. There isn't much more in this article, but there's always something. They say that if that sounds exciting to you, The Wizard of Oz will open at the Sphere on August 28th, which basically means they have it already sold out into 2026 by the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And especially coming after Wicked, like there's probably going to be, I mean, anything that's at the Sphere is going to be a draw.
Yeah. I'm curious how much this will cost, but this seems like it would be absolutely fun to go and see. All right, let's keep on going. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, so we've talked about a camera in Loch Ness. We've talked about wellness rooms replacing home offices. We've had a little bit of fermented miso, right? We know that our genes are impacting our music, and we're going to go see The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. But how are we going to get there? What do you say we take a trip on a train from Japan in a 3D printed train station that was made in just 3 hours?
I like it.
The West Japan Railway Company replaced an entire station with 3D printed prefabricated pieces, and construction costs were half that of reinforced concrete. This is over in Jalopnik. Ryan Eric King put the article together. If this is all it was, then I'm not really impressed, but damn it.
I agree. That just looks like a little bus shelter or something.
California High Speed Rail, a perennial punching bag, is slated to get its initial operating segment running by 2031. Recent project in Japan. Lemonade Stand talked about this briefly. Not this, but the California train station, and the fact that there's so many hurdles and bureaucratic chit chat and blah, blah, blah. And I always thought it was really funny while they were talking about it, that the people from Lemonade Stand, they're YouTubers that have converged onto this podcast scene, and it became like the top 10 immediately because they each have millions of followers. But it's so, at the same time of this enlightened discussion that they're having, they basically want to poo-poo the idea of anybody else having any interaction with the results. So, because they're like, anybody can put in a note that basically stymies the development of the high-speed train system in California, because maybe could they be impacted by it, or could something else be impacted by it?
Oh, yeah, like an environmental impact or something.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what you don't know, and you can't sit there and trample on everything just to get high-speed rail and then find out that a species of animal that could be the source of a solution for cancer or life-saving medication or just general awareness of humanity's existence on the planet in some profound way, after the fact, we go, oh shit, Well, we got the high-speed train. That's good enough. I mean, it's just kind of limited thinking. So J.R. West used this new construction method to replace Hatsushima Station, a small wooden station built in 1949 and served less than 400 passengers per day. The company waited for an overnight lull in the schedule, then quickly sent its workers into action, and the new station was pieced together with 4 hollow 3D printed mortar pieces, according to the Japan Times. At the work site, the pieces were filled with rebar and concrete to provide the same earthquake resistance as traditionally built stations. Despite the blazing fast construction time, J.R. West aims to open the new station in July. So it is a tiny train depot, but they did it in 3 hours. The thing about this isn't a contiguous piece. So does it really have the same earthquake protection? Because the solid mass
Sadly, we won't
inside,
know till it happens.
right? But I know from experience that a brick wall will fall over even if it's filled, because the bricks will shear at a different rate than the rebar reinforced poured concrete core. It's basically just a skin, and the bricks will shift and separate. Although this is contiguous, hollow 3D printed walls, the inside is still a separate mass from the
Right.
skin. So I would have preferred basically the whole thing just being 3D printed zigzag walls and put in place,
Right.
because it would all be contiguous. You could reinforce.
It would have taken more than 3 hours, though.
Well, no, it was 3D printed outside and then dropped in place in 3 hours. Regardless, I dig this kind of stuff. I really think that this is the future. We really need to just embrace 3D printing of concrete structures, change the recipe so that it doesn't off-gas so much carbon dioxide, but still, it is what it is. 3D printing has steadily become the go-to solution for rapid prototyping and manufacturing in unusual environments and usual environments. There's stuff in Texas and test prints in various other locations around the world. But I think that we all need to embrace it. Icon can come over, plop down a thing on a plot of land, 3D print, and take it all apart and get the hell out of Dodge in a weekend, instead of what we use today that gets blown over when the wind is too fast.
Exactly. And takes months and goes, over cost and
Yeah. Shit ton of natural
overtime.
resources, chop down trees, fabricating nails that vibrate out, and blah, 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 blah. Right? Yeah. Oh, and then, like, if you want drywall type interface, you can put this amazing insulation stuff called InsoFast. You just glue it on to the inside of the concrete structure, cement structure, and then you nail your drywall onto that, which I think is derpy anyway, because drywall's purpose is to stop runaway fires inside the structure, because what is the structure made out of? Kindling.
Wood.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's not in 3D printed.
Not when it's 3D printed. So anyway, my next mayoral mansion, I would love Icon to come up to me and say, you know what? We will build your mayoral mansion for free. And all you have to do is hype it up. Give tours periodically. Only virtual tours. And we don't want a bunch of people trampling around inside the mayoral mansion. We have wildcats here. Anyway.
That would have been good timing for one to come through.
Yeah, they're outside the studio. All right, let's keep moving though. So, what goes boing, boing, boing when it fails?
Oh, well, the first part was a bouncy ball, but I don't know.
Boeing. A new Boeing 787 fault leaves unsuspecting pilots disconnected from air traffic control. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner had a severe fault that could lead to flight crew missing important communications, like pull up.
Yeah, or like, there's a plane in your way. Okay, it's
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
a little more efficient than that, but
Too soon. Hey, there is a helicopter in your path. So Ryan Eric King over at jalopnik.com put the article together. And it says the FAA recent surge in controller applicants should tell anyone how vital air traffic control is needed to safely navigate a 250-ton plane from airport to airport. The federal agency warned airlines in late February that the Boeing 787 Dreamliner had a severe fault that caused very high-frequency radio channels to transfer between active and standby windows of the plane's tuning control panel, which could lead the flight crew missing communications. So freaking stupid.
Yeah, a little significant there.
Boeing released a software update, but it patched the Starliner instead of the 787. And so the 787 tried to dock with the ISS.
Ah, that's what happened.
And the Starliner tried to land in Texas.
It's all making sense.
Yep. And in both of the locations, they were asking for who the hell it is that's supposed to put the bolts on the door panels. While unintended transfers can be corrected by attentive pilots, the proposed airworthiness directive from the FAA doesn't downplay the potential risks if the issue isn't fixed. Pilots could miss instructions to maintain safe. We joked about that just now.
Yeah,
safe separation from other aircraft, avoid mid-air collisions, and prevent runway incursions.
Wow, a little too spot on.
You missed a spot. That is a big-ass plane. Look at that thing. Yet another for Boeing to tackle. All right, another problem for Boeing to tackle. Yeah, there needs to be a culture rebuild. Instead of seeking pure profits, quality needs to take the front line and solve that and then seek greater profits. But when something is a for-profit endeavor and you have so many people chomping at the bit to take money out of the system for profit, this is what you end up with. But hey, the market is shifting. Maybe you can invest in Boeing right now, and some billionaire is going to take it private.
We're not pumping any stocks on the show.
Yeah, we're not giving any advice. Not legal, not political, not financial, not advice at all. Well, like the PSA for the automotive thing, go get your oil checked. It's pretty safe.
Maybe life advice, but not anything requiring an expert.
Yeah, like don't pour salt in your eyes. So I've been kind of walking around like I have bolts in my neck and kind of stiff and not really all there, today because I wasn't sleeping. So I thought the rise of Frankenstein laptops in New Delhi's repair markets are apparently an interesting topic. So was feeling zombie-like, Frankenstein-like. Too much of a stretch?
Frankenstein's monster.
Frankenstein's monster, yeah, because it was Dr. Frankenstein. So spare laptop accessories stacked inside Nehru Place shop that specializes in laptop and mobile repairs is the kind of the description of a picture that we're going to see when we go over to The Verge. This is The Verge. The article is written by Hanan Zafar and Danish Pandit, I think, or Danish. So there is the shop of all kinds of electronics. This is like cyberpunk hacker elite kind of thing. This is the true meaning of hacker.
Is. They could just film here, right? When you see those scenes in cyberpunk movies and you'll see the little stalls and this is it. They don't need to do anything to it.
Although this looks like a kilo of cocaine over here, but okay, never mind.
Maybe we could remove that.
Yeah. All right. So in a dimly lit, cluttered workshop in Delhi Nehru Place, the air hums with the sound of whirring drills and the crackle of soldering irons. Sushil Prasad, a 35-year-old technician, wipes the sweat off his brow as he carefully pieces together the guts of an old laptop. It's a daily ritual, resurrecting machines by stitching together motherboards, screens, batteries, scavenged from other trashed older laptops and e-waste to create functional low-cost devices. This is truly the meaning behind hacker. Hacker used to be taking a bunch of disparate parts and making something work. Now it means trying to break into a system without authorization.
Odd, because it's almost the opposite of the original.
Yep. So, and using really high end, sophisticated equipment to break in too. But that's not what the real meaning, the original meaning of hacker is. So right now there's a huge demand for such hybrid laptops, Prasad said, swapping out a damaged motherboard. Most people don't care about having the latest model. They just want something that works and won't break the bank, which is different in different locations. So cultural relativity, socioeconomic relativity. You have to be aware of this kind of stuff as a human being. Anything short means that you're probably bordering towards sociopathy. You might want to look in the mirror. So we take usable components from different older and discarded systems to create a new functioning unit. For instance, we salvage parts from old laptop motherboards, such as capacitors, down to the component level, mouse pads, transistors, diodes, and certain ICs, integrated circuits, and use them in the newly refurbished ones. Basically, they have enough knowledge of the componentry so that they can splice it together, and there isn't so much divergence that it doesn't work. They make it work.
Right. I imagine these individuals doing this are probably smarter than a lot of tech workers because they're not following like a script. They're
Right.
actually probably problem solving as they're going and going, oh, well, this doesn't fit, but how can I reconfigure this or whatever?
Yep. And their only issue is that they were born in a certain time, in a certain place, to certain parents, socioeconomic status, caste system, etc. Could be brilliant, just need opportunity. Could be wildly successful, I should say. They are brilliant. They could be wildly successful if given an opportunity. But there are people out there that don't even see that on the horizon with 8 billion people on the planet. It's the same level of hubris where we say we are the only sentient life in the universe. Let's be real here. We don't know what we don't
Right.
know.
All we know is that we maybe, but yeah, there's a lot out there that people don't know.
Yep. So a college student or a freelancer can get a good machine for INR. Indian rupee for 10,000 or 110 US dollar instead of spending 800 US dollars on a brand new one. For many, that difference means being able to work or study at all. So the screen, they say, once it's all put together, flickers to life, displaying a crisp image. He smiles, a sign that another machine has been successfully revived. I love the idea of this. And I think that something like this with the right equipment, but the same build quality would actually, people would find this as a prized possession in a modern, like,
Yeah, no, I agree.
in a different socioeconomic status. Like I would buy one of these for $110 and I could probably sell it to somebody as a cyber deck
Right.
for $800, right? Because people would appreciate the design aesthetic. The only thing about it is that it voids any type of liability. You bring this into your house and it burns your house down because a capacitor explodes.
Right. It's too bad because you've tinkered with everything and
Yep. And that's one of the reasons why right to repair should mean right to repair by an authorized service center and just have a lot of service centers. It used to be that way. Like you wouldn't be able to maintain a warranty on an HP printer unless you were certified for that printer, how to take it apart and put it back together and did it right. Nowadays, I don't know what the status of that is. I haven't been in an IT shop like that for decades. So it says while these Frankenstein laptops are a lifeline for many, the repair industry itself faces significant roadblocks. Many global manufacturers deliberately make repairs difficult by restricting access to spare parts, using proprietary screws, implementing software locks that force customers to buy new devices instead of fixing old ones, which Apple does that. You put
yeah.
the wrong screen on and it actually locks it because it says it's an unauthorized part that's not compatible. So it says India always had a repair culture, from fixing old radios to hand-me-down phones, but companies are pushing planned obsolescence, making repairs harder, for forcing people to buy new devices instead. So they basically are going to have to figure out how to remove the components that are hobbling the board and hack around it. So I see that building, particularly in today's economy. It's going to get tougher and tougher.
Yeah, well, and they bring in the right to repair laws, which it looks like they're going through similar struggles as other countries.
You know, one of the location processes approximately 30,000 tons of e-waste daily, providing employment to nearly 50,000 informal workers. Informal basically means, yeah, workers
Probably
who
not getting paid full salary and benefits.
yeah, have no health care, no protections, who extract valuable materials from it. Probably, yeah, no personal protective devices, etc. The market is a chaotic maze of discarded electronics where workers sift through mountains of broken circuit boards, tangled wires, cracked screens, searching for usable parts. So there's a scrap dealer picking up various things. You know, I would love the idea of a recycling center being or something that would be a good return on investment, right? Like I would be able to make money enough that I can support myself from it and have a recycling center. But the whole world doesn't see it that way. And it would rather ship off all of the stuff to some other country where we don't see it. And therefore, it's not our problem, but it really is a societal issue. But again, the sociopaths will say, I don't care. So despite the dangers, the demand for Frankenstein systems continues to grow, and in India's digital economy expands, the need for such affordable technology will only increase. So pretty wild, huh?
Yeah, I think this was a pretty interesting article. I like things. I hadn't heard about this in this location. I mean, I'm certainly familiar with the efforts to retrieve components, etc. But
Right.
this was pretty interesting.
And this is just India. There's other places all throughout Africa. There are places where it's basically dumped, and then people are sitting, without any personal protections,
Right,
clipping off
with toxic
components.
metals and yeah.
Yep. So, but it's willful ignorance to sit there and say ... and then it's worse. Like, I've gotten that blowback when I talk about it. I'm like, look, I'm not dog whistling that you should, give up all of your electronics, but be cognizant of the fact that we have both a global societal impact and environmental impact. Does it mean you should just give up on everything and just hold some tin cans with a rope between them so that you can talk? No. But you don't necessarily need to replace everything every year, or every 6 months, depending on how fast the developer, the manufacturer releases a new device.
Yeah, I mean, we live in kind of a disposable economy or whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it.
exactly.
But
And it's going to get tougher now, folks. Seriously tougher, particularly in certain countries. So let's keep moving, though. I haven't seen it yet. I used to play it. A Minecraft movie. It's crushing. It's mining the box office, as I wrote. A Minecraft movie has earned $157 million, the most successful domestic opening weekend for a video game adaptation ever. The name of it is a Minecraft movie. It isn't a Minecraft movie. It's a
it's not a
Minecraft movie.
description, it's the title.
Yep. Done incredibly well. Its opening weekend, a Minecraft movie made $301 million worldwide, 157 domestically, US. The biggest opening weekend ever for a video game adaptation. The Super Mario Brothers movie was the former highest grossing video game movie, debuting with $146.4 million. PC Gamer.
Well, that's interesting. So maybe gaming movies are on an uptrend.
Yeah, certain ones are definitely, I would say, an IP that has a vociferous following in the video game community will have a vociferous following in the movie community. And I think a Minecraft movie was well positioned because it's a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Move over Mario. Ellie Gould put the article together over at PCGamer.com. There's Jack Black. In its opening weekend, Minecraft movie made $301 million. Opening weekend. The long tail of this.
Right, exactly. I mean, think when it hits streaming.
Yep. Although Super Mario Brothers movie has a smaller budget of $100 million, while a Minecraft movie had $150 million, it doesn't make this achievement any less impressive. Which also means that after the debut weekend, there's a decent chance that it's already profitable for Warner Brothers. But like the author said before, they saw that the outcome was going to be a mile away. I won't go through this whole thing. It's just really fascinating. In the game, things are blocky, but in the movie, they made it kind of hyper realistic.
But blocky at the same time, because this looks like a little panda cub that's blocky.
Yeah. And the pandas are blocky as well. Their heads are, at least. So, talking to the producer and director, it was clear that everyone involved with making a Minecraft movie was aware of just how difficult it was going to be to appeal to the more than one target audience. To that end, director Jared Hess and producer Torfi Olofssonen, decided to try and have as much fun while making the film as possible, hoping that their love of the game would shine through, and apparently it has. There is more over at this article, but I just wanted to talk about the fact that it made $301 million in a weekend.
That's absolutely insane.
Now I want to see
what that means for the next. Yeah, I know.
I want to see it, but I want to see it on the Sphere.
Maybe that'll follow Wizard of Oz.
It's probably like $150 a ticket to see this at the Sphere.
Right. Is it going to be that good?
No. I'll watch it at the Sphere in my house in the mayoral mansion's home theater. I'll put a white salad bowl down and point a projector at it. And
that'll be a lot less expensive.
And then I'll sit like this, watching it in that little bowl. It's huge. No, I would rather watch a movie in VR nowadays. I think that would be great. Very immersive. You can look around and stuff like that. Nobody's feet are going to be on the seat behind you, or you have to get charged with assault to knock them off. Anyway, moving on. The next article is over in NASA's. Well, it's over in Technology Today, which is another one of our shows. It's on Sunday in the mid stream. There's 3 shows on Sunday: Warcrafters, Technology Today, and then 4-Wheel Tech. Technology Today does a deeper dive. Anyway, NASA's S4e97 sees 100,000 galaxies at once, and it's just getting started. And wow, just wow is what it says. Wow, 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 wow.
I mean, that's a lot of galaxies.
Galaxies. Yes, we are the only life in the universe. S4e97, NASA's new space telescope, just opened its eyes, plural. If it's just one sphere, it's one eye. All-seeing.
Yeah, but is it set up like a bug or something where it has multiple eyes?
Yeah, compound eyes. So, it's a spider in space. Dun, dun, dun. So it delivered its very first images from space, though not yet fully calibrated. The images already showcase a sweeping view filled with stars and galaxies, over 100,000 sources in each frame. S4e97 detects invisible infrared light and splits it into 102 hues. I guess that's the resolution of this thing. JPL put the article together. It's published over at scitechdaily.com. So, S4e97 detects invisible infrared light, splits it into 102 hues to reveal secrets about the origins of water, galaxy distances, and even the physics of the early universe. With all systems working and its ultra-chilled detectors focused and functional, the mission promises to revolutionize cosmic surveys by mapping the entire sky multiple times and complementing more focused telescopes like Hubble and Webb.
Think of all the things we're going to discover because of this.
I want to see what this actually looks like, and I hope they have a picture of it. But the top 3 of the images... the top 3 and bottom 3 images show overlapping areas of the sky, revealing the observatory's full field of view, a rectangular swath of roughly 20 times wider than the full moon. Each routine science operation begins, or once routine science operations begin in late April, s4e will capture about 600 exposures per day. All right. I still don't see a picture of the thing.
No, I want to see like, okay, here's the 100,000 galaxies.
Yep. So breaking down color this way can reveal composition of an object or the distance to a galaxy. With the data, scientists can study topics ranging from physics that governed the universe less than a second after its birth to the origins of water in our galaxy, or so we think. Again, back to hubris. So the observatory will map the entire celestial sky 4 times during its 2-year prime mission using a technique called spectroscopy, which is basically the mapping via spectrum. So s4e will collect the light from hundreds of millions of stars and galaxies in more wavelengths than any other all-sky survey telescope. And they go into detail about how it sees it and more. But s4e, or the spectrophotometer for the history of the universe, epoch of reionization, and ICE's Explorer. All right, you had to work really hard to get that one. Is a NASA mission designed to map the entire sky in infrared light, mapping data on everything from the origin of water in the galaxy to large-scale structures of the universe. Managed by NASA's JPL for the agency's astrophysics division, s4e it is led by a principal investigator based at Caltech with a joint appointment at JPL, and for how long, who knows. Pretty cool. But that's what it looks like.
I still want to see the full images, though.
Yeah, we'll have to come back to this because they have everything from short wavelength to long wavelength. And this is a high resolution image. And then you can zoom in, and it shows faint, distant galaxies. And I think once it's actually focused and calibrated better, this resolution will increase, and it'll show promise about just what more we can see beyond what we have here. We just don't know what we don't know yet.
Exactly. And if those are like the things that look like stars or entire galaxies, think how much this is going to uncover.
Planets. Yeah. I think it's amazing. So we'll keep on checking it out. I think it's amazing. It does 600 exposures per day. And what they say is this exposure had this one here. So each image is expected to contain 100,000 detected sources.
Do they mean one of these squares that we're seeing?
I'm not sure what the full scope of it is. If it's each day, because it's doing 600 exposures per day, what is the scope of this, It says while early images are still uncalibrated, this image has 100,000 detected sources. And this isn't the full range.
Right.
So we'll come back when they release more information. I can almost guarantee you that this will get resubmitted as an updated story that we can talk about. So love this stuff. We don't know what we don't know, and the only way to find out is the exchange of information. So come on over to ohmTown.com, where all the information is aggregated for you. If you find a source that we don't actually have, let us know. We'll evaluate it and include it in our aggregation process if it's available, and then we'll end up aggregating some other stories and talking about it Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. and then Saturday and Sunday starting at 4 p.m. Eastern times. Regardless of time shifting and stuff like that, it's always at the same time, 7 p.m. or 4 p.m. Be sure to stick around. Pretty neat articles. Sentient AI from the future.
I think so.
You ready
these
to
are just a snapshot of everything we have at ohmTown.
Yeah, thousands of articles. But we use it to manage information overload because up until I created this for myself and then invited other people to take a look at it, information gathering was untenable. I just couldn't consume enough information from disparate places. with relative ease. The friction was too high, and so I built my own search engine to eliminate all the noise from other news aggregation services that might be out there. This is it's all from news sources, not just submitted stuff. And so we evaluate it to make sure that it falls into one of these 6 main categories. And hopefully, if you're interested and you want to do a show here, and it fits within one of the 6 categories, this is a pretty broad gamut. So hopefully, if you're interested and you like the show and you like it enough, maybe you want to put a show together and you can talk with us and maybe we can make it happen. But until then, we're going to get out of here. I'm going to take the AI with me. You want to say bye?
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for today's Non Sequitur News. Come back tomorrow for another episode.
See you soon, everybody. Bye bye.